Today on Down with Dedee, my mom will be having a conversation with Rachel Sheedy.
Hi, Rachel. Welcome to Down with Dedee. How
Hi,
are you?
sweetie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, first of all, Rachel Sheedy is my agent. Okay, so let's just get that out right now, which is I'm so excited about that. I have not had an agent. Well, Jesus, for like almost I don't know how long. 13 years. When I left the industry for a minute to go get my degrees, and then I came back, I just got thrown on the big sky with my manager. So I was like, okay, let's just go. And now Rachel and I are going to start a new chapter of my life now that Big Sky has been shelved. Well, no, I actually got kicked to the curb. Let's call it for what it is. Go there. But that's not why I'm having you on the show today. What I love about Rachel is not only she's an amazing woman, but you're also in recovery. How many years you got, girl?
I'm just over 10 years.
Okay, I'm like a newbie. I'm almost 5 years. So people like you inspire that in me and others. I know that. So one of the things I find so interesting about recovery is that everybody seems to be finding their own way to do it. Like even when, although I use the 12 steps, because that's what the rehab that I went to used, I had issues with the whole like religion aspect of it. I just said straight up, I'm not going there with you. Okay. And the gal who ran the rehab was like, honey, you don't have to. No one's asking you to. Religion's over here. Spirituality's over here. Do you believe there's anything bigger than you? I said, Mother Earth is one badass and the universe is bigger. And she goes, that, my friend, is your higher power. And love. For me, love is my higher power. And
Yeah.
that's I was able to use that to get sober and continue to this day. But then when we were talking, you were like, oh, I got sober in a different way. And I said, please come on my show and tell us all about that. What?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So when I got sober, it wasn't even a conscious decision to get sober. I knew that, I was in my 40s and I still had a problem. I had started drinking and using drugs when I was 13, 14 years old, as a little punk rock kid in New York. And but the day I went to go get laser acupuncture, it was actually smoking. I was looking to quit. And I almost didn't go. A friend of mine, said, oh, I'm going today. I'm going to get laser acupuncture. You should come too. But it was a work day and I take work very seriously. And I didn't think I could leave early, but it was summer and it was slow. And she was going to this laser acupuncture studio at 3:30 on a Friday. And I thought, this is important. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. So I made my way over to this studio and, for half an hour, 20 something minutes, this woman zapped me on my, on my hands, on my ears, on my feet, on my legs. And then she hands me a bag of cinnamon sticks. Now, I'm a New Yorker.
A long time ago.
Right. I've just given her $350
Yeah.
for cinnamon sticks. Right. And so like, I'm walking out of there. I say goodbye to my friend. I'm walking out of there. I'm on 33rd and like 2nd Avenue in New York City. And I'm wearing these like 4.5 inch, like, platform espadrilles. They were Halston. And I'm walking.
We were all wearing
cute.
those then.
Yeah, they're so cute. So I'm walking and I'm cursing in my head. Oh, I hear I'm a New Yorker and this little Russian girl, she's going to take my money for a bag of cinnamon sticks. And I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking. And at this point, I live in Tribeca. And I get home and I realized that I've just walked for about an hour and I had no desire to smoke whatsoever. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. That night, a girlfriend of mine, this amazing girlfriend, same girlfriend that invited me to go get the laser acupuncture done. She used to be a supermodel. She's one of my best friends. Her name is Sky Neller. She's a DJ now, then she was a DJ and she was working and DJing a special party at the Mondrian. So I went there and like all night long, no smoking, no desire whatsoever. But I had like 2 drinks and not at that point, my usual is like martinis or whatever, heavier drinks. I'd like 2 drinks and I was shit-faced. And I was like, what the hell's going on? You know, did I not eat? No, I ate. You know, why am I so drunk? Went home. Next day, I think it was like, you know, fashion show or whatever it was. Another party, another event, another 2 cocktails, another like on my face. And so this goes on for a couple of days. And I was really, I was really confused because obviously my drinking metabolism was way off. And so I called the woman, her name's Tatiana. She's still doing laser acupuncture in New York. And I called her and I said, Tatiana, you know, first of all, you're genius. I have no desire to smoke. It's been days, you know, even when drinking or eating or whatever, no desire to smoke whatsoever, but I can't drink anymore. You know, I have like 1 or 2 drinks and I'm really, really drunk. And she was like, are you an alcoholic? And I said, well, what do you mean? You know, I go out and I drink and whatever. And, you know, and she was like, well, the points for addiction are the points for addiction, you know? So it doesn't just work on the smoking, it works on the alcohol too. So how many drinks do you have? Well, you know, 3 or whatever. How many days a week? 7, 8 days a week, 10, whatever, 14 days a week. Anyway, so she said, well, you're an alcoholic. And I said, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. And she said, well, you have a free follow-up visit. Why don't you come in and we'll zap you again. But in addition to the points for smoking, we'll do the points for alcohol and drugs. Do you do drugs too? I said, yeah, I do. And so she did. For my 9 months, no desire to, no interest in, no nothing. And you know, I had done sober Octobers. I had done, you know, periods where I would stop. And addiction runs in my family. My father died as an opioid addict, and my sister has struggled in the past. My other relatives have struggled in the past, and but what had happened was I had been dating this guy who's like 16 years younger than me, and like, you know, owned a hedge fund, and he was like one of those like Masters of the Universe fellows, and he would drink a bottle of wine a night and a martini. And I had broken up with him and I got back together with him, and I was like, I can just have one drink. Not one, not nothing.
Wow.
I went from being sober for 9 months and really loving it and really strong and happy in my sobriety to being like all of a sudden a lush again. And it was like no time had passed, nothing had happened.
That's how most people go to the light, or they leave their earth bodies. You know, that is that they say the relapse itself, it's their heart, because we go right back to where we stopped, and your body goes, oh hell no, because now your body is reconfigured itself.
Yeah.
And then your body goes into shock when you start throwing 2 martinis at it or whatever, or a bottle of whatever. Right?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was like no time had passed.
Yeah.
It was,
oh, your poor body, right?
yeah, it was really hard because I couldn't believe. I remember being, you know, at an after party for a fashion show, and everyone was around me like partying and whooping it up, and it was really one of these like star-studded kind of situations. And I found myself like so drunk and so uncomfortable in my body, and and I left my friends, I left my boyfriend, I just walked out. And I remember I got onto the street and I got into there are no cabs around. I got into the back of a limousine, and this guy took me home, and I just thought, I don't want this anymore. And so I called up Tatiana again, and I was like done with him, and done, I knew I was done with booze and drugs for good. And I called her and I said, Tatiana, can I come in today? And she was like, sure, of course. And I came in and I reeked of alcohol from the night before. I was like I could smell it in my pores and whatever. She was like, you smell like you're still drunk. She was like, I can zap you, but why don't we wait a couple of days? This isn't going to work. This is, you're obviously still inebriated, and like, don't do it. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your whatever. And I was like, no, we're going to do it. And that was the last time I ever drank.
You know something? First of all, thank you for your story. That is amazing.
Yeah.
One, number two, what people don't understand is that there's these things called high functioning alcoholics, high functioning addicts. I certainly was one of those,
Yeah.
And we think of alcohol as more an addict, somebody who's in the gutter, experiencing homelessness, et cetera, et cetera. It sounds like you hit your bottom, and it took a few rounds, right? Some people have to go around more than a few times, and some don't make it back. Because let's go back to the way you did it, girl, because you did it different, which I love. And I've never heard of that. Now, I'm probably like a lot of people. You said zap. So are we talking needles? Right now, my toes are curling up in my socks.
No, laser acupuncture, regular acupuncture is with needles. Laser acupuncture, what they do is they use the light from the laser. Most of the time you don't feel it. Sometimes, like with regular acupuncture, if you've ever had regular acupuncture, they might stick the needle one place and you'll feel it echo or reverberate somewhere else. But there's no pain. There's mild sensation, but there's no pain. So there are, acupuncture, there are meridians that run through your body that are part of different channels. There are certain points, like this point in where this little diamond is.
Pointing at your ear for the audio. Let's, for people who are driving right now, she's pointing at her ear where that little ball thing is.
This is, so this is the point for addiction. And there are different points for different things. So for instance, this point, this inside
the ear.
Yeah, this little earring goes through a point that helps with migraines. And when I got this thing pierced, I didn't, when I had migraines, I didn't throw up for a full year, which if you're a migraine sufferer, that's a very big deal.
Suffers from that. I'll tell her about that. Wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Here that literally triggers certain things, like for instance, your migraines, addiction. So if you go to somebody who understands that, those spots can be stimulated or activated, I would say, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And acupuncture, it really works and it really goes deep. But laser acupuncture goes a great deal deeper. And so
through all the skin, fatty tissues, all that stuff, right? Going into the nerves.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, when they stick the needle in, or they put the laser light to that area, it stimulates the entire meridian, right? So you're activating the entire meridian. And, listen, I mean, I think the reason that you don't really hear about this technology, and I had I heard this kind of firsthand because one of, after I got sober, after I quit smoking with this technology, I had a Me Too situation at my old agency. I was there for 16 years. And, when I spoke up about harassment of me and some of the other clients, I was fired. And so I decided, with my newfound sobriety and my newfound, smoke-free lifestyle, that my way of giving back was I bought this laser, I learned how to use it, and I helped a number of people in my life and helped them, be free of alcohol, be free of smoking. The laser is also amazing for things like sciatica and back pain and, weight loss even. I mean, there are all sorts of things that you can do.
I add to what you just said, which was such a beautiful comment. You said, my way of giving back. This is one thing that when people are active in their disease versus not active in their disease, I don't use the words clean and dirty and all that kind of stuff, because to me, clean and dirty means you need a shower or not. Okay. Like right now, I'm pretty dirty. I need a shower. That's what are you clean? Are you dirty? I'm like, what the hell are you asking me if I'm showering?
Yeah.
because that's what it is. You're active in your disease or you're not, right? We are presently not actively in our disease. And what's so beautiful is when you had said that it activates those points, you're deactivating your disease and activating the parts that were probably dormant or something biology was going on, because I do believe it's biopsychosocial. I'm a big one on that one when it comes to addiction and all that stuff. It's all of those things. And when you go to rehab, they're not really ever looking at the biology, and they're certainly not looking at what you're talking about, which are certain specific parts of the body, right? But
Yeah.
long story short, when you said give back, that is such a huge part of recovery. And it's such a beautiful thing that I notice every person, almost every person I know is in recovery, no matter how they got there, gives back in some way, shape, or form. By the way, here we go. I'm going to ask you, girl.
Sure.
Do you believe in the paranormal? Yes or no? And why?
Absolutely.
What? You're like,
Well, I always kind of have. And not just the paranormal, but all sorts of other things. I mean, I've been to Dracula's grave in Romania. I'm part Romanian, and when I was a little kid, when I was
I want to hear about that because I'm madly in love with vampires.
okay, so Dracula's grave is in Snogov, which is, and it's a beautiful, beautiful space. Now, Dracula was a real person. He was Prince Vlad the Impaler, whether he sucked blood or not, who knows. He used to chop off people's heads and put them on stakes all around, to show his dominance and that he was a fierce warrior. But I was obsessed with him from the time I was born, basically. And so when I was 10 years old, we went to Romania to visit my grandmother's relatives. And I made them take me to Dracula's grave. And I wanted to go to the castle too, but to be honest, we were on one of these old trains and we were going through Transylvania, and there was that dead tree, low-lying fog, like creepy business. And I was like, maybe we don't want to go to the castle after all, because it was so like spooky, super spooky. But yeah, when I was a kid, I used to sleep with the covers up above my neck because I didn't want them to bite me. And then when I was 14, all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm ready.
I would lay there and go, oh, please come bite me. Because I always thought they were so sexy in the black and white films, with the woman's lying there and her breasts are, and she's all exposed. The window opens up and this man comes in, and he just like, the music gets all creepy and she's lying there all innocent. I don't know why that turned me on. There's something serious. Oh, look, she's got a coffee. Listening, she's got a coffee cup. What is that?
That's Nosferatu.
Oh, yes, it is. I love that. Oh, excuse me.
I've always
from a tribe that absolutely will not even say the word skinwalker. Okay. Say the word because they know it's real. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, but so when we moved into this house in Palm Springs, one of the things that was very important to me was it was the first home I ever bought. And in Bali, where my mother lives, where my sister lives, when you go into a new space that is your home, you have it blessed. So it's very important for me that I find someone local that understood the culture locally to come and bless it for me. So I actually found this girl who lived, like, she was from New Orleans originally, but she had lived here for a long time, and she was a witch. And she came and blessed the house. And it was really interesting because one of the first things that she did was, we were standing in the living room and she touched the ground and she looks up at me and she goes, so tell me about these headaches of yours, and I have these chronic migraines, have since I was 14. So we talked about that. And that was one of the first things she said to me. Then there was a spirit in our bathroom. And my barky baby over here, the corgi, Lady Bo, she actually, we didn't have the other pups at this time. She actually saw the spirit, and she shook this tambourine type of thing. and she guided the spirit, and Bo chased the spirit out the door. So
I love that.
yeah, I've always believed in other planes.
Yeah, I've talked about another episodes of this show that I've had really very similar things happen. And you know, it's actually funny when you were saying that it was scary. That makes me believe. And I did my random thought on my Instagram. I do random thoughts. One of them was the other day, the government said, oh, well, you know, we have this money in this committee, and, you know, because we're investigating the UAPs and UFOs because they're national security and a threat. And my Instagram shout out, my random thought was bullshit. Listen, if you believe, and let's just go with it for a minute, let's just go with it that there are other life forms. That means they're pretty damn intelligent. They're it's not too difficult to be far more intelligent than mankind right now. Say that for, let's just go with it for a minute. And if they were, that means they could take us out. They would have taken us out. They would have hurt us by now.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just math. Come on. That's so going with that for a minute. They're not in national security. Stop telling me that they are. It's this divide and conquer mentality that I said to my followers, don't fall for that. Don't be scared of something because someone tells you to be scared of it. We're only unknown because movies have told us to be scared for years, because our parents told us there was a boogeyman, because they want to keep you from running down the block at 1 a.m. and getting lost and they can't find you, you know. Reasons why we're told things are scary, right? Versus your own experience. Because to me, what it sounds like, you had an energy, there was an energy thing going on with you and this other energy, and this third person came in and said, hey, this is what's going on, sugar. We got a new tenant here. So you need to move on. And that's okay. It's kind of like this is water. Listen, I love you, but unless you're going to pay rent, you're out of here, baby. But do you know that 80% of all mankind in the whole world believe in some kind of other life form and paranormal or some kind of spirit, or they've had their own experience? It's now that people are starting to come out because more people like us are talking about it, and there's still those who will color us crazy. That's cool. You can color me crazy all day long. I don't mind. You know, if this is crazy, I love it. I want to be on Team Crazy. There was a time when nobody wanted to be on Team Crazy. You know, there was a time where you didn't bring this stuff up because your family and friends would institutionalize you, would 5150 you, right? Would talk about you behind your back. Johnny must be drinking again. He said he saw some ships last night on the farm. No, Johnny saw something last night, and trust me, he didn't want to say that out loud. But he's like, what the hell did I just see on my farm? It didn't make sense. That is not something of this world.
Yeah, ancient aliens all the way, baby.
George with the hair. Don't even.
Oh my
George,
God. Oh my God.
I promise you, I'm going to try to get him on the show.
Oh my God, please.
My ratings will go skyrocket because people go, oh, that crazy guy. I go, you know about him, don't you? Well, yeah. You listen to what he's saying? Well, yeah. I said, Eric Von Donigan, or I always mess his name up. It's Chariots of the God. It was a bestseller for a reason, right? But and then the app Gaia. If you watch Gaia, there's all sorts of people talking about this, and they're doing it, and there's whistleblowers. Major whistleblowers who are saying, yeah, this is what's going on. I don't find it scary. I find it informative. And those of us who are aware of what's going on, not in the news and what they tell you, but what's really going on, we can be part of this amazing movement.
Oh, but it's not just up there. It's, you know, if you've ever, you know, done a very deep sound bath or meditation, or, you know, or I one time, there was this amazing guy, Paul Lowe, who's one of the founders of Esalen, and he did a retreat in Hawaii some years ago. I went with my mother, and we did a toning thing where we all sat in this room and we sang together. And, you know, you change the vibration that you're living in. And what you realize through these kinds of things, through meditation, through toning, through yoga, through all of these different things. Some people do it through something like ayahuasca, although I abstain from that stuff right now. But, you know, there are different planes of existence, and there are different planes of energy. And this plane, I mean, we're talking, you know, kind of matrix here, you know, this plane is one thing, but there are different levels, higher and lower. And if you've done theta, or you've done, you know,
There's actually names for each level. And as you go through them, you literally go into, I think I told you here, my agent, I went to Colombia for 7 days. Dr. Joe Dispenza, 7-day retreat. And we learned to do what those people do on ayahuasca.
Mhm.
We're sober, we can't do that. Or you can, but I'm not going to. It's just
Yeah.
something I'll just abuse it because, that's how I do it, right?
Yeah.
So 7 days with 1,600 people from 30 different countries. The guy
Wow.
sells out every time. And he teaches you how to go, what you're talking about, going to a different frequency. You
Yeah.
basically your body, and then people go, what are you talking about? I said, well, we're less than 1% mass, 99.999% atoms, which that's our body, our energy. And once you understand the biology of that, and this kind of deep meditation, I wouldn't even call meditation, it's called really changing your frequency, your vibration and all that. You can leave your body, keep your ship, hello. And it's the most beautiful, amazing place that I've ever been. And I can tap into that whenever I want. When I'm in traffic in LA, I just go, okay, I'm going to do some heavy meditation here. And let me tell you, it is life-changing. And it's where we do our work, right? And it's like when they say what you put out is what you receive. It's that, but on steroids. Because you really will, things will come to you. You came to me because I was just doing all this work, and I talked to Jessie and she goes, my agent wants to talk to you now. And I was like, whoa, really? That's I wasn't out to get an agent, right? But I just was like completely open to the idea of having somebody rep me who gets me, who's going to understand. I've been doing this for 40 years, and if they can get the sobriety thing, that's a plus. Jesse's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, but she's sober. I said, that's it. Put her on the phone right now. I said, that right out of all the agents in LA and New York and around the world, what are the odds that you reached out like right away, like the second?
I wish I could remember who said it, but it was a famous musician. Maybe it was Mozart. I can't remember, but they said that the music was the space between the notes.
Yes.
There's what you say and there's what you do and there's but the moments of stillness between the action where you're able to tap into what your heart really wants, that's where the magic happens.
So true. It's so true. And speaking of magic, Rachel, if you could be any animal in the world and reincarnated as that animal, which animal would it be? Besides your
I love my dogs. My dogs are my children, but I've always been a cat.
Oh,
yeah, always. I'm just did you ever see The Golden Compass? Or it was a movie that Nicole Kidman was in, but it was also a TV show on HBO. In The Golden Compass, your soul had an external manifestation that is an animal. And my cat Lapoo feels. Your dog is basically having a reaction to that. I know they're like, what do you mean? It's not a dog. You don't want to be reincarnated as me, mommy? Hey, hold on.
Oh my God, look how cute. Hi, baby. What's his name? Hi.
I have no idea who's here. No one said.
Oh, I love it. Well,
it's the hot FedEx guy.
It's oh my God. I love it. I love it. So you're not gonna be reincarnated as your dog, and now your dog's pissed. So you're gonna be reincarnated as a cat.
So yes. So in The Golden Compass, every person has an external manifestation of their soul as an animal. And in it, the Lyra, the lead of the show, her external manifestation, up until you're like going through puberty, it can change. So if you're running, all of a sudden it's a puma. And if you are on a rooftop, it might become a bird. But when you go through puberty, your external manifestation will set in the form that reflects most like your soul.
Wow.
And they call that external manifestation a demon. And if that demon were to die, you would die. If you were to die, your demon were to die, because it is truly a part of yourself.
Sure,
And
yeah.
Pat LaPoo has always been, to me, my demon. She actually saved my life. My little bungalow in West Hollywood, there was a fire outside of my bungalow, and she actually woke me up and saved me. Yeah, the firemen came, and it was like the whole back gate was on fire, and underneath the gate there was a gas barbecue, and underneath the gas barbecue there was a second tank of gas, and 3 feet to the left of that was the whole gas mechanism for my bungalow. And the fire department came, and they were like, another 5 minutes and you would have been dead. She's truly my heart.
Wow, that's what this big bad guy behind me, my lion, is. My male lion.
Yeah.
When I first started to try to meditate in rehab, I have monkey mind like no one's business, and I was like, "Oh, this stupid meditation! Can't I just jog around the block?" They're like, "No, Dedee, sit. Dedee, sit. You need to calm this monkey mind." Long story short, one of the only things that really happened was this male lion kept coming to me, and then I finally decided to give into it. And instead of being like, "Oh, I can't meditate. This is stupid. This is stupid. Why am I doing? Can I just have a cigarette? When is it cigarette time? I'm not drinking today. Can I have a cigarette?" This is how I was in the beginning of rehab. And then all of a sudden I decided, because Kathleen Murphy always mentioned about in recovery, one of the many things you can do is to learn how to be curious, not resistant.
Mm-hmm.
When you're resistant, this is what the world looks like, right? I have my hand in front of my face, right? But when you're curious, my hand is now open. Look at everything you see. So I went into meditation that day going, oh God, here we go again. I said, Dedee, maybe you need to change the way you think about this. So I closed my eyes, and the male lion came to me again. And all of a sudden I was just curious about him. And I started looking at his face and his eyes and his mane. And I just was kind of in an awe. And all of a sudden, like 20 minutes went by. It was a guided meditation. They all went on. But I was still sitting there really looking at the male lion. And all of a sudden I realized I had calmed down. Mm-hmm. I had stopped my brain and focused on him. And what I did is I gave it up to him. And he was just like, it's okay, honey, look at me. Just look at me in my eyes. And then this happened frequently. And then I dawned on me, I said something to somebody, does anyone have animals come to them when they close their eyes? They're like, honey, that's your spirit animal.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that. Okay. So but they said, are you a Leo? I said, no, I'm a Capricorn. It should be a goat. So it comes in many ways, right? In many forms. But I think it's when we just and listen and be curious. Oh my God, the things just come are beautiful and very, they enhance my soul. Rachel, I want to say thank you for coming on Down with Dedee, girl. And boy, this is to a beautiful future with you and me rocking and rolling, right?
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to know you. And I'm so happy to be working with you. You're such a ray of sunshine.
I'm trying, girl. Thank you. So are you. This is why I'm had you on my show. I only have light on my show. Thank you, sweetie. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And give that dog a kiss for me.
So much love to you. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say
Oh, there we go. Oh my God, you have three. Hi, baby. Oh my God, they're so great.
Farm around here.
My sons are holding mine back right now.
Thanks for having us all on.
Yes.
So much love.
Bye, baby.
Bye, honey.
Or visit our website at www.downwithdedee.com.